The grand hall of the Terran Unified Government buzzed with anticipation. Thousands of alien delegates from across the galaxy stood in neat rows, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of colors, textures, and bioluminescence. At the far end of the hall, atop a raised dais, stood Admiral Ilara Voss, her steely gaze sweeping over the assembled crowd. The selection process for the Nexus project had drawn candidates from every corner of known space. Each alien present represented the best their species had to offer, the strongest, the smartest, the most adaptable. They were here to compete for a single position, a role that would shape the future of intergalactic relations and push the boundaries of what was possible. As Voss began to speak, her voice carried effortlessly through the cavernous space. Welcome, esteemed delegates. Today, we embark on a journey that will redefine our understanding of the universe. The Nexus project represents humanity's most ambitious endeavor yet, and we are honored to have you all here as potential partners in this grand vision. The crowd rustled with excitement, each delegate hoping to catch the Admiral's eye. But as Voss continued her speech, outlining the importance of the project and the rigorous selection process that had brought them to this moment, her attention was drawn to movement at the back of the hall. A small figure stumbled through the grand doors, leaving a trail of murky footprints in its wake. The newcomer was humanoid in shape, but clearly alien, its skin a mottled green, partially obscured by thick layers of dried mud. Tattered rags hung from its thin frame, a stark contrast to the immaculate attire of the other delegates. Whispers rippled through the crowd as the mud-caked alien made its way forward. Security drones hovered nearby, their sensors whirring as they assessed the potential threat. But Admiral Voss raised a hand, silencing the murmurs and halting the drone's advance. "You there," she called out, her voice cutting through the tension. "Step forward." The alien hesitated, large eyes blinking rapidly in the bright light of the hall. Then, with a visible effort, it straightened its posture and walked towards the dais. As it drew closer, Voss could see that beneath the layers of grime, the alien was young, barely more than a child by the standards of most species. "Your name?" Voss asked, her tone softer now, but no less commanding. The alien's voice was barely above a whisper, but in the hushed silence of the hall, it carried clearly. "Zix," it said. "I am Zix of the Myriad." Voss's eyes widened slightly at the mention of the Myriad. They were a nomadic species, rarely seen in civilized space. Known for their adaptability and resilience, the Myriad had survived on the fringes of the galaxy for millennia, eking out an existence on worlds others considered uninhabitable. "And why are you here, Zix of the Myriad?" Voss asked, genuine curiosity coloring her words. Zix stood straighter, meeting the Admiral's gaze with unexpected intensity. "I come to offer what others cannot. I bring the wisdom of 1,000 worlds, the strength born of endless struggle, and the will to survive against all odds." A low murmur spread through the crowd. Some delegates scoffed at the audacity of this mud-covered child, while others watched with growing interest. Voss, however, remained impassive, her eyes never leaving Zix's face. "The Nexus project," Voss began, addressing the entire hall once more, "is not merely about technological prowess or diplomatic skill. It is about pushing the boundaries of what we believe possible. It requires someone who can adapt to the unknown, who can thrive in the face of adversity." She paused, her gaze sweeping over the assembled delegates before returning to Zix. "Someone who embodies the very spirit of exploration and survival that has driven humanity to the stars." The silence in the hall was absolute as understanding dawned on the crowd. Voss stepped down from the dais, approaching Zix with measured steps. She extended a hand, a gesture of respect and partnership that transcended species barriers. "Zix of the Myriad," Voss announced, her voice ringing with finality. "I hereby select you as humanity's partner in the Nexus project." The hall erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted in protest, demanding explanations and reconsideration. But Voss stood firm, her hand still extended towards Zix, who stared at it in disbelief. Slowly, hesitantly, Zix reached out, its mud-caked hand clasping the Admiral's in a grip that belied its small stature. In that moment, as human and alien stood united before the tumultuous crowd, the future of the galaxy shifted on its axis. As the uproar continued around them, Voss leaned in close to Zix. "The real test," she whispered, a hint of a smile playing at her lips, "begins now. Are you ready?" Zix's large eyes blinked once, then narrowed with determination. "I was born ready, Admiral," came the quiet reply. "Lead the way." With that, Admiral Voss turned, guiding Zix through the chaos of the Grand Hall. They walked side by side, the composed human leader and the mud-covered alien child, an unlikely pair headed towards an uncertain future. Behind them, the delegates continued their protests, but their voices faded into insignificance. The Nexus project had found its champion, and the galaxy would never be the same. The sleek spacecraft, Horizon, glided silently through the star-studded vastness of space. Inside, Admiral Ilara Voss stood at the bridge's viewport, her hands clasped behind her back as she gazed at the distant pinpricks of light. Behind her, the bridge crew worked efficiently at their stations, the low hum of advanced technology filling the air. "Admiral," a voice called out, breaking her reverie. "Our guest is ready for the briefing." Voss turned to face her second-in-command, Commander Raj Patel. "Thank you, Raj. I'll be there shortly." As she made her way through the corridors of the Horizon, Voss couldn't help but reflect on the events that had led to this moment. The uproar following her selection of Zix had been intense, with political fallout that threatened to derail the entire Nexus project. But she had stood firm, trusting her instincts and the potential she saw in the young myriad. The briefing room doors slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, Zix sat at the large holographic table, now clean and dressed in a specially designed suit that accommodated their unique physiology. The transformation was striking. Without the layers of mud, Zix's skin shimmered with an iridescent quality, patterns shifting subtly beneath the surface. "Zix," Voss greeted, taking a seat across from them. "I hope you're finding your accommodations satisfactory." Zix nodded, their large eyes blinking in a gesture Voss had come to recognize as one of thoughtfulness. "It's different," they said softly. "I've never been somewhere so still." Voss raised an eyebrow. "Still? Most would consider space travel quite dynamic." "For the myriad, stillness is death," Zix explained. "We are always moving, always adapting. This ship, as vast as it is, feels confined." Understanding dawned on Voss. The myriad's nomadic lifestyle was more than just a cultural choice, it was integral to their very being. "Well," she said with a slight smile, "I can assure you, things are about to become very dynamic indeed." With a wave of her hand, Voss activated the holographic display. A massive space station materialized above the table, slowly rotating to show its full structure. "This is Nova Station," Voss began. "It was once the crowning achievement of human space exploration, a joint project between Earth's greatest minds and several alien species. But 15 years ago, all contact with the station was lost. Every attempt to reach or board it has failed." Zix leaned forward, their eyes reflecting the holographic light. "What happened?" Voss's expression grew grim. "We don't know. The last transmission we received was garbled, but it mentioned a breakthrough, something about bridging realities. Then nothing." The hologram shifted, showing various failed attempts to dock with or enter the station. Ships bounced off invisible barriers, probes disappeared without a trace, and even the most advanced scanning technology yielded no results. "This is where you come in, Zix," Voss continued. "We believe your unique myria physiology might allow you to bypass whatever is preventing us from accessing the station. Your people's adaptability, your ability to survive in environments that would kill most species, it might be the key we need." Zix was silent for a long moment, their skin patterns swirling in complex patterns. "You want me to be your, what? Your key, your sacrifice?" Voss leaned forward, her voice intense. "No, Zix. I want you to be our partner. Whatever is on that station, whatever breakthrough they achieved, it could change everything. But we can't do it alone. We need you." Before Zix could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Commander Patel's voice came over the intercom, tense and urgent. "Admiral, we have a situation. You need to see this." Voss and Zix rushed to the bridge, where chaos reigned. The viewport showed a sight that made Voss's breath catch in her throat. Nova Station, previously invisible to their senses, had suddenly appeared, and it was massive, far larger than the hologram had depicted. But that wasn't what had caused the alarm. Surrounding the station was a fleet of ships, their designs unlike anything Voss had ever seen. They moved in impossible patterns, facing in and out of visibility. "What are we looking at?" Voss demanded. Patel shook his head, bewildered. "Unknown, Admiral. They just appeared out of nowhere. Our sensors can barely track them." As they watched, one of the strange ships broke off from the others, heading straight for the horizon. Its surface rippled like liquid metal, reshaping itself as it approached. "Evasive maneuvers," Voss ordered, but Zix's voice cut through the tension. "Wait," they cried out, pressing a hand against the viewport. I recognize that pattern." All eyes turned to Zix as they continued, their voice filled with awe and a touch of fear. "It's a myriad ship. An ancient one, from the legends of my people. But how?" The strange ship was now directly in front of them, its size dwarfing the horizon. As they watched, a message flashed across their communications screen, not in any known language, but in a series of shifting patterns that mirrored the movements on Zix's skin. Voss turned to Zix, her expression a mix of determination and uncertainty. "Well, partner," she said, "it seems your role in this mission has just become even more crucial. Can you translate?" Zix nodded slowly, their eyes never leaving the mesmerizing patterns. "They're asking for me," they whispered. "They say they've been waiting." As the crew of the Horizon held their breath, the ancient myriad ship began to open, revealing a docking bay that seemed to defy the laws of physics. It was an invitation, or perhaps a challenge, that they couldn't refuse. Voss squared her shoulders, making a decision that would alter the course of human history. "Prepare for docking," she commanded. "It seems our mission has changed." "Zix," she added, turning to her young partner, "are you ready for this?" Zix's skin rippled with a complex pattern that Voss interpreted as a mix of fear and excitement. "No," they admitted, "but as I told you before, Admiral, I was born ready." With that, the Horizon began its approach, venturing into the unknown depths of the ancient myriad ship and towards a destiny that would reshape the galaxy. The Horizon glided into the cavernous docking bay of the ancient myriad ship, its sleek design a stark contrast to the organic, ever-shifting walls around them. As the airlock sealed and atmosphere equalized, Admiral Voss, Zix, and a small team of specialists prepared to disembark. "Remember," Voss addressed her team, her voice steady despite the tension in the air, "we're in uncharted territory. Stay alert, stay together, and follow Zix's lead." The young myriad stood at the front of the group, their skin shimmering with rapid patterns that betrayed their nervousness. As the Horizon's doors opened, they were the first to step out onto the alien deck. The interior of the ship was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent light, and the floor seemed to mold itself to their footsteps. Zix moved forward with growing confidence, their body resonating with the ship's energy. "It's alive," Zix murmured in awe. "The ship, it's not just a vessel, it's a living entity." As they ventured deeper into the ship, holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing star charts and diagrams that defied conventional understanding of space-time. Zix's eyes darted from one display to another, their skin patterns shifting rapidly as they absorbed the information. "This is incredible," Dr. Aria Chen, the team's xenobiologist, breathed. "The ship seems to be mapping multiple realities, parallel universes." Voss frowned, her mind racing. "Is this related to the bridging realities mentioned in Nova Station's last transmission?" Before anyone could respond, a figure materialized before them. It was humanoid in shape, but its form flickered and shifted, as if it existed in multiple states simultaneously. "Welcome, children of the stars," the figure spoke, its voice resonating not through the air, but directly in their minds. "We have awaited your arrival for eons." Zix stepped forward, their skin pulsing in harmony with the ship's walls. What are you?" The figure's form settled, taking on an appearance that mimicked Zix's, but older, wiser. "We are the architects, the first of the myriad. We have watched and waited, guiding the evolution of countless species across the multiverse." Voss, overcoming her initial shock, addressed the being. "Why reveal yourselves now? What's happening on Nova Station?" The architect's expression grew solemn. "A great threshold approaches. The experiments on Nova Station have weakened the barriers between realities. If left unchecked, it could lead to the collapse of the multiverse itself." Horrified understanding dawned on the team. The stakes were higher than they could have possibly imagined. "But there is hope," the architect continued. "The myriad were created to be the guardians of these cosmic boundaries. And now, at last, one has returned to us." Its gaze settled on Zix, who stood transfixed. "Me?" Zix whispered, their voice a mix of awe and disbelief. "But I'm nobody. Just a mud-covered orphan." Voss placed a hand on Zix's shoulder, her touch grounding the young alien. "You're far more than that, Zix. I saw it the moment you walked into that selection hall." The architect nodded approvingly. "The human speaks truth. Within you lies the potential to save not just your reality, but all realities. But the choice must be yours." As Zix grappled with this revelation, alarms blared throughout the ship. Holographic displays showed Nova Station, now fully visible, its structure warping and twisting in impossible ways. "The collapse has begun," the architect announced gravely. "You must act now, or all will be lost." Voss turned to Zix, her expression a mix of determination and concern. "This is beyond anything we anticipated, Zix. I can't order you to do this. It has to be your decision." Zix looked from Voss to the architect, then to the twisting image of Nova Station. Their skin rippled with a complex pattern that slowly settled into a steady, determined glow. "I spent my life feeling lost, out of place," Zix said, their voice growing stronger with each word. "But now I understand. This is my purpose. Our purpose." They turned to Voss, eyes shining with resolve. "I'm ready, Admiral. Let's save the multiverse." Voss nodded, a proud smile tugging at her lips. "All right then. Architect, what's our next move?" The architect waved a hand, and a shimmering portal appeared before them. "Through here lies Nova Station, the nexus point of the collapse. You must reach the central core and activate the cosmic lattice. It will require both myriad adaptability and human ingenuity to succeed." As the team prepared to step through the portal, Voss turned to her crew. "This is it. Everything we've worked for, everything we've discovered, has led to this moment. Whatever happens on the other side, remember, we're making history. For humanity, for the myriad, for all of existence." With a deep breath, Voss nodded to Zix. Together, human and myriad, they stepped into the portal, leading their team towards a confrontation that would determine the fate of all realities. The shimmering gateway engulfed them, and for a moment, they existed everywhere and nowhere at once. As they emerged on the other side, the twisted, reality-warped corridors of Nova Station stretched out before them, a labyrinth of cosmic proportions waiting to be navigated. The final phase of their journey had begun, and the clock was ticking for the entire multiverse. The team materialized in a corridor of Nova Station, immediately assaulted by the chaotic energies swirling around them. The walls shimmered and flickered, reality itself seeming to warp and twist with each passing moment. Gravity fluctuated wildly, forcing the team to magnetize their boots to stay grounded. "This is worse than we thought," Voss muttered, her eyes scanning the unstable environment. "Zix, can you sense anything? Any direction we should head?" Zix's skin rippled with intense patterns, their large eyes darting around as they absorbed the surreal surroundings. I can feel a pull, something calling to me from the heart of the station. Dr. Chen's handheld scanner beeped urgently. Admiral, these energy readings are off the charts. The fabric of space-time is literally unraveling around us. Then we move fast, Voss decided. Zix, lead the way. Everyone else, stay close and be ready for anything. They pressed forward, navigating corridors that defied Euclidean geometry. At times, they found themselves walking on walls or ceilings, the station's twisted reality making conventional directions meaningless. Zix moved with growing confidence, their myriad physiology adapting to the chaos in ways the humans could only marvel at. As they neared the center of the station, they began to encounter echoes of the past. Ghostly figures flickered in and out of existence, scientists, engineers, and alien collaborators who had once called Nova Station home. Their voices whispered fragments of conversations, bits of equations, and cries of alarm. They're not real, Voss reminded her team as they passed through a phantom crowd. Stay focused on the mission. Suddenly, Zix stopped, their body trembling. Here, they said, pointing to what appeared to be a solid wall. The core is beyond this. Before anyone could question how to proceed, Zix stepped forward, their body seeming to phase through the wall itself. The humans exchanged bewildered glances before following, experiencing a moment of disorientation as they passed through what felt like layers of reality. They emerged into a vast spherical chamber. At its center floated a pulsing, crystalline structure, the cosmic lattice. Streams of energy flowed in and out of it, connecting to various points across the multiverse. But the lattice was fracturing, its harmonious glow disrupted by angry red fissures. My God, Dr. Chen breathed. It's beautiful and terrifying. Zix approached the lattice, their skin now glowing with an intensity that matched the cosmic structure. This is it, the nexus point of all realities, but it's damaged, unstable. Voss stepped forward, her face set with determination. How do we fix it? There must be a way to stabilize it. As if in response to her words, the chamber shuddered. Reality rippled around them, and suddenly they were not alone. Standing before them was a figure that seemed to be made of pure energy, its form constantly shifting between human, myriad, and countless other alien shapes. You cannot simply fix it, the being spoke, its voice reverberating through their minds. The lattice must be reborn, recalibrated to the new cosmic frequencies. Voss's hand instinctively went to her weapon, but Zix held up a hand, stopping her. You're the culmination of the Nova Station project, aren't you? The breakthrough they achieved. The being nodded, its form settling briefly into a vaguely human shape. I am what they sought to create, a being capable of existing across all realities simultaneously. But my awakening has come at a great cost. Understanding dawned on Zix's face. The collapse, it's because of you. An unintended consequence, the being confirmed. My consciousness spans the multiverse, but it has destabilized the very fabric of reality. The lattice cannot contain the strain. Voss stepped forward, her mind racing. Then help us fix it. There must be a way to stabilize your existence without destroying everything. The being's form flickered uncertainly. It would require a perfect fusion of myriad adaptability and human innovation. A new form of existence, bridging the gap between singular and multiple realities. All eyes turned to Zix, who stood transfixed by the pulsing lattice. Their skin was now a swirling canvas of cosmic patterns, resonating with the energies of the chamber. I understand now, Zix said softly. This is why I was chosen, why I always felt different, even among my own people. They turned to Voss, their eyes shimmering with otherworldly knowledge. I need to merge with the lattice, become the new focal point. Voss's eyes widened. Zix, no, there has to be another way. We can't ask you to sacrifice yourself. But Zix smiled, a serene expression settling over their features. It's not a sacrifice, Admiral. It's an evolution. a fulfillment of purpose. Before anyone could stop them, Zix stepped into the heart of the lattice. Energy surged around them, their form beginning to merge with the crystalline structure. The chamber shook violently, reality itself seeming to hold its breath. Voss and her team watched in awe as Zix's consciousness expanded, filling the lattice and beyond. The fissures began to heal, the angry red glow replaced by a harmonious shimmer that spanned every color imaginable. The energy being nodded approvingly, its form starting to dissipate. It is done. The new guardian of realities is born. As the being faded away, Zix's voice echoed through the chamber, now infinitely vast yet intimately close. Don't worry, Admiral. I'm still here. I'm everywhere. And thanks to you, thanks to humanity's spirit of exploration and innovation, the multiverse is safe. The chamber began to stabilize, the chaotic energies settling into a new cosmic rhythm. Voss stood speechless, tears in her eyes as she witnessed the birth of a new cosmic order. But their journey was not yet over. As reality realigned itself around them, new challenges and wonders awaited, a multiverse of possibilities, with humanity and the transformed Zix at its heart. The awakening was complete, but the true adventure was just beginning. As the cosmic energies settled, the team found themselves in a transformed Nova station. The once chaotic corridors now pulsed with a steady, harmonic energy. Zix's consciousness permeated every surface, their presence both everywhere and nowhere. We need to move, Voss announced, her voice cutting through the team's awe. The station is stabilizing, but we don't know what other effects this transformation might have. As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the station. Dr. Chen's scanner beeped urgently. Admiral, the station's systems are coming back online, but they're not recognizing us as authorized personnel. Defense protocols are activating. Voss cursed under her breath. Of course it couldn't be that easy. All right, team, move out. We need to get back to our entry point. They raced through the corridors, which now seemed to shift and reconfigure with each turn. It was as if the station itself was alive, its layout constantly adapting. Zix's voice echoed around them, guiding them through the labyrinth. The station is integrating with the new cosmic order, Zix explained, their voice seeming to come from everywhere at once. It's becoming a nexus point for all realities, but the old systems are fighting the change. As they ran, they caught glimpses of other realities bleeding through, alien worlds, alternate versions of Earth, and stranger vistas beyond imagination. Security drones from various timelines and dimensions converged on them, forcing the team to duck and weave through reality-warping firefights. Zix, Voss called out as she fired her phaser at a particularly persistent drone. Can't you shut these things down? I'm trying, Zix's voice replied, strained. But the station's original programming is resilient. It sees us as intruders in all realities. Suddenly, a massive barrier materialized before them, cutting off their escape route. As they skidded to a halt, portals began opening around them, disgorging more security forces from across the multiverse. We're trapped, Dr. Chen gasped, her back pressed against the barrier. Voss's mind raced, searching for a solution. Then an idea struck her. Zix, you said the station is becoming a nexus for all realities, right? Can you open a portal for us? Not to our reality, but to the space between realities. There was a moment of silence, then Zix's voice returned, filled with excitement. Admiral, you're a genius. Combining myriad adaptability with human intuition, that's exactly what's needed. The air before them shimmered, and a swirling vortex appeared. Unlike the defined portals used by their pursuers, this one seemed to exist in multiple states at once, its edges blurring the very fabric of reality. Go, Voss ordered, ushering her team towards the portal. I'll hold them off. But as the last team member leaped through, Voss found herself unable to move. The security forces were closing in, weapons trained on her. Admiral, Zix's voice cried out, panic evident even in its multidimensional form. Voss closed her eyes, preparing for the worst. But then she felt a strange sensation, as if her very atoms were being gently pulled apart and reassembled. She opened her eyes to find herself in a realm of pure energy, floating alongside her team in a sea of cosmic possibilities. "I couldn't let you sacrifice yourself," Zix's voice echoed around them, filled with warmth. "Not after everything you've done for me, for all of us." As the team marveled at their surroundings, streams of data and energy flowed past them. Voss realized they were seeing the underlying structure of the multiverse itself. "This is incredible," Dr. Chen breathed, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "We're witnessing the foundations of reality." But their wonder was short-lived. In the distance, they could see distortions forming. Their pursuers were attempting to breach this realm between realities. "They're persistent, I'll give them that," Voss muttered. "Zix, where do we go from here?" "I'm working on it," Zix replied, their voice strained with concentration. "The multiverse is reshaping itself. I'm trying to find a safe path back to our reality, but it's like navigating a storm of cosmic proportions." As they floated through the energy streams, Voss noticed patterns forming and dissolving around them. Fragments of possible futures, glimpses of paths not taken. An idea began to form in her mind. "Zix," she called out, "instead of fighting the reshaping, can we use it? Ride the currents of change." There was a moment of silence, then Zix's voice returned, filled with newfound determination. "Admiral, once again, your human perspective provides the key. Everyone, brace yourselves." The energy around them surged, and the team found themselves swept up in a cosmic current. They'd hurtled through the foundations of reality, glimpsing worlds and possibilities beyond imagination. Behind them, their pursuers were lost in the chaotic flow of multiversal restructuring. As they rode the wave of cosmic change, Voss realized that this journey had become far more than a mission to save their universe. They were witnessing the birth of a new cosmic order, one that bridged the gap between singular existence and infinite possibility. And at the heart of it all was Zix, once a mud-covered orphan, now the linchpin of a transformed multiverse. As they hurtled towards an uncertain destination, Voss couldn't help but smile. Whatever challenges awaited them, she knew that the combined spirit of humanity and the myriad would be ready to face them. The pursuit was not over, but for now, they surfed the very waves of creation itself, racing towards a new dawn for all of reality. The cosmic current deposited Voss and her team on a crystalline platform suspended in a vast, swirling nebula of possibility. As they regained their bearings, they realized they were at the edge of their own reality, but not quite home. "Where are we, Zix?" Voss asked, her voice hushed with awe as she took in the breathtaking vista of colliding universes and forming galaxies. Zix's voice resonated around them, tinged with both excitement and concern. "This is the nexus point, Admiral, the place where all realities converge and diverge. We're at the threshold of our universe, but what?" Dr. Chen interjected, her scientific curiosity piqued. "But we can't simply return," Zix explained. "The multiverse is still in flux. If we re-enter our reality now, we risk destabilizing everything we fought to protect." As if to underscore Zix's point, the nebula around them pulsed with chaotic energy. In the distance, they could see fragments of other realities, some peaceful, others war-torn, all in a state of cosmic turmoil. Voss's expression hardened with determination. "Then we make our stand here. We find a way to stabilize the multiverse once and for all." No sooner had the words left her mouth than a familiar, ominous hum filled the air. Portals began to open around the crystalline platform, disgorging the security forces that had pursued them across realities. "They're persistent, I'll give them that," Voss muttered, readying her weapon. But as her team prepared for battle, something unexpected happened. The security forces, instead of attacking, seemed disoriented. Some flickered in and out of existence, while others merged with their counterparts from different realities. Dr. Chen's eyes widened in realization. The nexus point, it's affecting them. They can't maintain coherence here. Voss saw an opportunity. Zix, can you amplify this effect? Push them back into their own realities. I can try, Zix's voice replied, strained with effort. The crystalline platform beneath their feet began to pulse with energy, resonating with Zix's multidimensional consciousness. As the security forces struggled against the rising tide of cosmic energy, Voss turned to her team. This is it, the final stand. Not just for us, but for every reality. We need to buy Zix time to stabilize the multiverse. What followed was a battle unlike any other in human history. Voss and her team fought not with conventional weapons, but with the very fabric of reality itself. They used their understanding of science, their human intuition, and their newfound cosmic awareness to manipulate the energies around them. Dr. Chen reconfigured her scanner into a device that could temporarily phase their attackers out of sync with the nexus point. The team's engineer, Lieutenant Ravi Kapoor, used his expertise to create localized pockets of stable space-time, providing safe zones for the team to regroup and strategize. All the while, Zix's consciousness expanded, reaching out across the multiverse. Their voice echoed with the weight of infinite realities. I see it now. The pattern, the grand design. But I can't do this alone. I need your help, all of you. Voss nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. It's not about myriad adaptability or human ingenuity alone. It's about the synthesis of both, of all perspectives across the multiverse. With renewed purpose, the team channeled their efforts not just into defending themselves, but into actively reshaping the cosmic energies around them. They became conduits for Zix's power, each contributing their unique perspective to the grand tapestry of existence. As the battle reached its crescendo, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The chaotic energies of the nebula began to coalesce, forming intricate patterns that spanned the entirety of the multiverse. In a blinding flash of light, everything stopped. The security forces froze in place, the swirling nebula stilled, and for a moment, all of existence hung in perfect balance. Then, slowly, harmoniously, the multiverse began to realign. The security forces were gently pushed back into their own realities. The chaotic energies settled into a new cosmic rhythm, and at the center of it all stood Voss and her team, forever changed by their experience. Zix's voice, now imbued with the wisdom of countless realities, spoke softly. It's done. The multiverse is stable. Every reality, every possibility, now exists in harmony. As the team marveled at the new cosmic order, a portal of pure, shimmering energy opened before them. Through it, they could see the familiar sight of Earth, their home. Voss turned to address her team, her eyes shining with pride and wonder. We set out to save our universe, and ended up reshaping the very foundations of existence. But our journey isn't over. We're returning home with knowledge and responsibility beyond anything humanity has ever known. She paused, looking out at the now harmonious expanse of the multiverse. We've seen wonders beyond imagination, faced challenges that tested the very limits of our species. But most importantly, we've learned that the true strength of humanity lies not in conquering the unknown, but in embracing it, in finding common ground with the most alien of allies. With a nod to her team, Voss stepped towards the portal. Let's go home. We have a new chapter of human history to write. As they passed through the portal, returning to their own reality, they carried with them the weight of their experiences and the promise of a new cosmic era. Earth shone before them, beautiful and familiar, yet somehow new in the light of their expanded understanding. And throughout the vastness of the multiverse, Zix's consciousness hummed with contentment, forever bridging the gap between human and alien, between the singular and the infinite. The adventure was over, but the true journey of exploration, understanding, and cosmic harmony